Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the session post lunch, and I believe everybody has had their lunch, and we'll try not to make you go off to sleep. We've got excellent presentations on innovation and technology being represented by the topmost companies. Please, all those people who are outside the conference area, please join us inside, grab your seats, and enjoy the presentations. Grasp whatever the best that can be. Our first presentation of the day is by Mr. Charan Kuppili, Technical Director, South and Central Asia, Jinko Solar. The topic of his presentation is Trends of TOPCON and ESS. May I please invite Sai on the stage? I believe Mr. Swapnil Wakade and Mr. K and Dinesh Babu is also here. Uh, would you guys would want to use the lapel mic so that we don't waste the time that could be taken from the console if you would want to do that. Uh, Kindly request everybody to use their time judiciously so that the other speaker gets their time as well. Per presentation, max 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Amit. It's really very hard to start any kind of session post-lunch, but I take the opportunity to start this. I'm Charan Kuppili, Technical Director for South Asia and Central Asia of Jinko Solar. So more predominantly, this particular session, I'll try to wind up within the given time of 10 minutes. But just more predominantly, if we just try to see what kind of new technologies which are getting prevailed in global PV space or even specific to ESS part. So on these particular fronts, just before going into that, a quick glance of Jinko Solar. We are a global PV leader as far as technology is concerned, which is why you can see the kind of penetration what we have made on the footprints of mono-PERC kind of technology, which was happened during 2018-19 days kind of thing. And from then, even if you just try to look at the latest technology, which is TOPCON, which is what is happening, not just with a kind of plain vanilla TOPCON, but just a kind of optimization within TOPCON also, like selective emitter kind of technology, or even going with HPBC kind of technology within TOPCON kind of aspects, are even getting widely created on the fronts of R&D segment. So that's how you can see like Jinko Solar as a kind of major PV leader on the segment of technology. And looking at the numbers, we have delivered more than 150 gigawatt capacity from the date of our inception. And more predominantly, the kind of capacity what we manufacture per year, it's close to 70 gigawatt by the end of this year. And out of this particular 70 gigawatt, 35 gigawatt is going to be with TOPCON kind of technology. And going forward, entire this particular TOPCON or entire this particular mono-PERC technology is going to be superseded with this kind of TOPCON kind of technology. And why we are trying to venture more in TOPCON, because we easily could see the kind of value addition whatever is required or any kind of optimization whichever is required specific to mono-PERC technology is completely saturated. So now which is the reason why we have to move towards high power density and high energy density kind of technologies, which is what is achieved with these kind of TOPCON kind of technologies. And looking at the roadmap specific to these kind of TOPCON kind of technologies, if we just try to see what kind of efficiency bands that has been achieved in the laboratory, and even if you just try to look at any kind of mono-PERC technology module, which is standing at a maximum efficiency of 21.5% to 21.8%, wherein which that particular module stands at 550 watt peak. The same 1i2 by 1i2 mm wafer size module, if you just try to go with TOPCON kind of technology, probably the efficiency of that particular module may be standing at 22.5%. And if you just drop down these particular efficiency number of the module towards the efficiency of the cell, that will be standing at 24.5% to 26% max. And within TOPCON, we have already achieved 26.7% kind of efficiency. And this is the laboratory efficiency specific to cell. The moment when we go for mass production, it will be standing at 25.4%. So that way, if we just drop down the module efficiency from 25.4% of mass production cell efficiency to mass production module efficiency, it will be touching beyond 23.2%. So just because of this particular technology optimization and technology, advancements, what exactly is happening specific to these kind of TOPCON kind of technologies, we could see these kind of efficiency numbers in the module. In a way, it's going to reduce the kind of BOS optimization or the cost which is involved in the BOS in reducing your levelized cost of energy by just reducing your capex values or even increasing your specific energy yield. All these particular factors are favoring more with TOPCON kind of technology. And the kind of products, what exactly we are providing to the markets across the globe, and specific to Indian market, we concentrate majorly on 72 cell and 78 cell. And on the 72 cell, you easily can see that the power class is going to touch around like up to 590 watt peak. And with 78 cell, even we can provide even up to 630 watt peak. And these all particular products, whatever we are trying to showcase here, these all are having BAS in place. So it's just, you just need to tell us your requirement. We are ready to cater your all kinds of needs. And specific to other markets, like where exactly we easily could see 54 cell, 60 cell is a kind of market which is majorly required for distributed generation kind of segments, where more predominantly for the kind of rooftop or any kind of C&A kind of markets, where they actually ask in for these kind of 54 cell or 60 cell kind of products, which is again a kind of tender specific. Only for the mature markets, this generally happens, not for Indian market. And specific to Indian market, always DG segment or more specific to rooftop or utility scale, they always try to follow the footprints of what utility is being followed. And there we easily could see 72 cell of both monofacial and bifacial variants are going to be in place. And specific to bifacial, we easily could see the trend is more towards bifacial dual glass kind of module rather than transparent backsheet. But yes, transparent backsheet is even having its own advantages when compared with dual glass. But still, we are open to all kinds of technologies and variants within this particular area. And more predominantly on the segments of what kind of advantages that you easily can get with this kind of TOPCON kind of technology. As I was trying to explain you, that the same 182 mm by 182 mm wafer size module, which generally comes with a kind of 2278 by 1138 kind of dimension module, can provide you 550 watt peak with mono-PERC kind of technology. The same dimension module, if you try to go with TOPCON kind of technology, you easily can get up to 590 watt peak or even 580 watt peak. So it's a kind of straightaway power density improvement is happening for the same area occupancy. So that way you easily can reduce your BOS optimization, like the amount of cable whichever is required on the fronts of 1 core by 4 square mm cable or 6 square mm cable is going to be reduced, and your number of DC combiner boxes are going to be reduced. Altogether, your amount of area required to install that particular 1 megawatt capacity is also going to be reduced. Altogether, your capex savings are going to happen with this. This is only on the fronts of power density part. And specific to energy density part also, you will be having better benefit, like the degradation specific to P-type will be standing at 2% at the end of first year, and year-on-year degradation is going to stand at 0.4%. The moment when you try to go with these kind of TOPCON with selective emitter kind of technology options, it will be standing at less than 1% for the first year, and year-on-year it's going to stand less than 0.4%. These are just typical benefits you easily can get on the fronts of degradation. Apart from that, even if you just try to compare the temperature coefficient of P-type mono-PERC technology, which will be standing at around like minus 0.35%, and for this particular selective emitter TOPCON, it initially started with minus 0.3%, but now it has reduced it to minus 0.29%. So altogether, you can see the kind of gain what exactly is going to happen from the shift of mono-PERC to TOPCON. You usually can see the benefit of 2.5% to 3.5% kind of extra energy gain, apart from the power density gain, whatever is happening on this. So that way, altogether, if you just try to put these particular numbers in your LCOE calculation within your financial model, you usually can see not less than 3.5% to 4% kind of extra energy gain. With that particular benefit, if you just try to calculate in the NPV analysis, you easily can see 3 cents, 2.5 cents, so 3 cents per watt peak is a kind of direct benefit what you easily can see that. Apart from this, even the TOPCON kind of technology, since the doping mechanism is completely going to happen with lesser thickness on this particular segment. So you easily can see better bifaciality factor, and low irradiance performance is also going to be bit better with these kind of TOPCON kind of technologies when compared with mono-PERC kind of technology. Altogether, if you just try to look the major factors of power density and energy density, it's always topping the board specific to this particular TOPCON kind of technology. Apart from that, even on the reliability fronts as well, you name any kind of threshold test specific to extended reliability test conditions, what exactly even the current regulations which are yet to come from BAS, even for those kind of guidelines on the reliability test conditions also, these kind of TOPCON products has got better advantage when compared with other factors. This is a kind of typical slide which explains about the degradation comparison between P and N, where for P it is standing at 2% and for N it is standing at 1% for the end of first year. The more specific to technology benefits, and these all are on paper which has been noticed. Even we have installed certain kind of N-type installations by collaborating with certain third-party agencies and these particular installations are being monitored by third-party agencies like TUV, CGC kind of agencies, and what we noticed is that on paper, we easily could see that 2.5% to 3% is a kind of extra energy gain which is expected with TOPCON kind of technology. But on ground, what we noticed is that 5.5% is a kind of extra energy gain. On paper, it is showing just as 2.5% to 3%, but on ground, which is being vetted by third-party agencies like TUV, CGC, it's happening at 5.5% for Saudi Arabia kind of region. And more specific to Malaysia kind of zone, even there also we notice the same thing of 5.5% extra energy gain. And typically with Ningbo, China kind of location also, we have noticed 4.5% kind of gain. Every location, wherever you name any kind of location, it's like we have installed these kind of typical N-type kind of comparison with P-type. We noticed within all these kind of locations that we could notice that more than 4% kind of extra energy gain is always noticed, not just limiting only with monofacial, even with bifacial kind of modules as well. You can see everywhere it's beyond 4% kind of extra energy gain which has happened. Compatibility wise, we are universally compatible with all kinds of tracker kind of solutions or even with fixed tilt kind of solutions. So that way we don't have any kind of limitation specific to pitch hole mounting position on the structure part specific to the long rail of our module. That way 400 mm pitch hole position is always going to benefit you on all fronts. And on the fronts of inverter wise, you go with any kind of inverter, whether it is string inverter or central inverter. Since we are going with 182 mm by 182 mm kind of wafer size, our ISC of the module is always less than 15 amps. So you easily can go with clubbing two inputs to a kind of Y connector to the single input of your MPPT of a string inverter. That definitely will reduce your BOS costs on the fronts of optimization. That way you will have better advantage on the capex calculation. And on the fronts of ESS, so we are trying to we are trying to provide these kind of solutions starting from 1 kilowatt hour till megawatt hour kind of solutions. And this is something like you can ask us like what Jinko is exactly trying to do in ESS part. Since Jinko is a kind of PV leader, of course, yes, we are not just limiting ourselves only to be as a kind of PV leader in the segment of product part, but yes, on the energy storage also, we want to provide it as a kind of solution, which is why on residential energy segment kind of thing, we are providing this particular solution as RESS, starting with 1 kilowatt hour up to 50 kilowatt hour. And for C&I markets, we even can provide up to 1 megawatt hour with a kind of cabinet kind of solutions. And for utility scale, for the tenders like RTC kind of thing, up to beyond 2.7 megawatt hour kind of containerized kind of solutions also can be provided. You can reach out to us where we are having our stall here itself, where we can even discuss more in detail specific to these kind of Sun Terra, Sun Giga and Sun Tank kind of solutions, what exactly we are providing to all the kinds of markets across the globe, but just specific to Indian market for their RTC tenders or even for kind of independent hybrid tenders kind of thing, we easily can support on these particular segments as well. Because since we are having a kind of customized design specific to heat sink mechanism within the Sun pack, within the pack of the rack system itself, we easily can see the LCOS reduction, which is what is happening specific to storage is going to happen up to 20% kind of reduction. That way you usually can see better value addition when compared with any other conventional sources or conventional energy storage solutions what people are trying to provide you. With this, I end the presentation. I have taken 1 minute more. Thank you. Thanks, Amit.
Who's coming? You're still sitting around. I'll just catch up with. Sai, thank you so much for the presentation and catching up almost on time. Ladies and gentlemen, may I please invite Mr. Swapnil Wakade, Head Institutional Sales Solar, Ecofy, for his presentation. The topic would be Ecofy's financing solutions for the solar industry. I would once again request everyone to please take care of the time. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So, Ecofy is, I think, one of its kind of green-only NBFC, and we finance for greener tomorrow. So, I think during this entire event, there are a lot of OEMs, manufacturers, service providers. Everyone is there, but I think so. We are the only one financier who are attending this event. We are having our booth as well, just outside the conference hall. Why green only NBFC? Because we are born to finance green. We don't do anything else. We only do green financing. We are having products like EV financing, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, then rooftop solar financing, where we do financing from 1 lakh to 1 crore. That means we are doing retail financing for end consumers. We are doing PO financing or dealer financing. In case you are having any orders in hand, we do financing for that. If you are having PPA projects and you want a term loan for longer tenure, then we do financing for that. We do off-grid financing as well. So these are our products which are only green, and that's why we are green only NBFC. So we are operating under name of Ecofy, which is our brand name, and our actual parent company is Accredited Clean Tech Finance Private Limited, and we are new age tech-led green NBFC. We received our RBI license in November 22. So we actually commenced our business like 5 months back itself. We are very new, we are very young, but we are completely digital. We are committed towards addressing the climate finance gap, because though the adoption of solar is picking up, the industry has moved from small ticket to large ticket and then to open access. But then again, the residential segment or a retail segment, there is a gap in financing. And to address that specific gap, we are providing our solutions to the industry. We are more on retail side, and we are partnering with people and businesses who want to reduce the carbon footprint. So this is about us, about Ecofy. We are building greenfield NBFC that will be entirely retail. As I mentioned, we do financing from starting from 1 lakh for rooftop solar, for residential rooftop solar, for off-grid solar. We are entirely digital. We have already launched our, we can say, industry first rooftop solar loan platform, which I will display in further slides. Then we are financing only climate positive segments or businesses to create a measurable impact. And we are not operating out of branches or branch offices. We are actually built on back of multiple partnerships. Some of our partners are already sitting over here. Who are our investors? Most of the time when any NBFC gets launched, it's always in back of the mind who is behind this particular NBFC. So our fund manager is Eversource Capital, which is India's leading climate impact investor. Eversource is JV between Everstone and Lightsource BP. And Eversource manages Green Growth Equity Fund. And our anchor investors are from quasi-institutional, so that is from NIF, which is Government of India. And there is Sovereign Fund, which is FCDO, which is Government of UK. So we are well-backed, well-thought NBFC for solving a climate finance gap. What makes us different? Though there are a lot of NBFCs who are coming up for offering the green finance, there are banks who are offering the green finance, but what makes us different? So we are tech-enabled, we are tech-led, new age NBFC. We are having ability to integrate with the green ecosystem. So there are already marketplaces, there are financing marketplaces with whom we have already done the API integration. That makes us light and fast. We are addressing product gaps. So let's say for small ticket loans for individual and small businesses, so there is absence of O&M, there is absence of insurance. So we have bundled all these products. So whenever we partner with any merchant or any EPC installer, we ensure that the offering is not only just installation of the project, but the entire ecosystem is getting managed, including insurance of the project and O&M of the project. We are having access to attractive liability pool, and we are at the center of the green ecosystem. That means we are partnering with green OEM, service providers and lenders. We are also monetizing the credits. Most of the times for the larger projects, it is easy to monetize the carbon credits, but we are creating a marketplace, a green marketplace, where the end consumer who is owning the rooftop solar plant can monetize the credits. So these are our segments. As I mentioned, we are financing for electric vehicle. It is two-wheeler electric vehicles. It is right now we have also started for three-wheeler cargo vehicles, and we are entering into three-wheeler passenger vehicles as well, EV. Then into rooftop solar, with aim of solarizing roofs of residences and small businesses to enable savings and create a green impact. And then SME division, where we do the dealer financing, we do the purchase order financing for the longer tenures, and to help SMEs do more green. So these are our segments in green financing. I would like to, as this is RenewX is specifically solar, so what is there for rooftop solar financing and what is about green, how we are operationalizing things. So we are providing loan for solarizing rooftops. Any customer or any business will opt for solar only if they see there is monetary savings. That is a core. So we are ensuring these customers avail monetary savings and create sustainable impact. So we are India's dedicated green financer for rooftop solar. Why we have depicted a mobile and an apply online? Because we have already gone digital. We have disbursed hundreds of loans digitally without any physical files, without any physical documentation, without even physical presence and meeting the customer. So how the product looks like? It's a bundle product. LTV is around 80%. It's collateral free, instant disbursal, and term is up to 5 years. So we are with this core philosophy of retail and end-to-end digital journey for financing for the rooftop projects. The main is the EMI should be equivalent to or lesser than the electricity bill. So most of the time, the regular financiers assess only the credit part of the customer, but we do assessment for the credit part as well as we do assessment for the energy consumption pattern and energy consumption behavior of the customer to ensure that whatever tenure or whatever LTV is loan to value we are offering to the customer, it is either equivalent, the EMI is equivalent to or lesser than the electricity bill to avoid any financial burden on the customer. We are also monitoring the green part, which is CO2 savings and carbon credits, and we are helping customers to monetize the carbon credits. Then quality. The quality is very important factor in retail and residential or small scale rooftop projects, because all the larger established players operating like let's say in 2015, 16, 17 are moved to open access, big ticket plants, and there is a big gap in the retail segment of the quality players. So we are partnering with quality players. We are not open for all. We are partnering with very few who are providing quality and standardization, and to ensure that we are delivering a right product to the customer. So this is our product philosophy, and this is how the product looks like. So it's a 4-step loan application process for from. So it's first is KYC verification, where we do we collect the Aadhaar number and the PAN number of the customer. Then we are ensuring that the solar system details. We are not financing for all the mechs of the solar, because to ensure the serviceability, the warranty, and the performance guarantees of the product. So we are capturing the solar system details. We are having the asset classification. So first is KYC, second is solar system detail capture, then applicant details and selfie. So we have geotagged. So any dealer or any EPC installer who is selling the product to the customer, he can assist customer to fill in the details and fill in the entire application there and there itself. So after KYC, after entering the solar system details, after entering the applicant details, installation address details, we ask for the banking upload, and we give instant in principle approval. The sanction is given at the end of the process itself. So most of the time it happens end of the process. If there are any deviations, then we do manual underwriting, but the decisioning is given in the same day. So this is how we are addressing a gap for financing in retail segment. It's quick. We have disbursed cases in a same day as well. So, and this is how is our geographic presence. So right now we are present in 4 states. We have also opened up Hyderabad city and Telangana state and Bangalore and Karnataka. So we have opened up Telangana and Karnataka very recently. We are already operationalizing in Maharashtra, Gujarat, MP and Rajasthan. So slowly we are expanding and we are planning to cover pan India within next 1 year. This is our team. Our team leadership team comes from, they are veterans in the financing domain. Our co-founder and CEO is Ms. Rajashree Nambiar, who was earlier CEO at Fullerton and IIFL. Our co-founder and CEO is Mr. Govind Shankar Narayan, who was earlier CFO and CEO at Tata Capital. So with a dynamic experience into financing and into the actual domain, we have formed this team to ensure that we are delivering a right solution to the industry. We have already done multiple partnerships across the segment. Some of our partners are already here, like Tata Solar, then Solarium, Claro. We have partnered with Vida, Aether, Ola, Hero Motocorp, then Wellfund, which is a marketplace for green financing, Mahindra, Vari, Solar Ladder, Aha Solar. So we have already partnered with multiple players who are operating in this domain. And this is about it. Thank you so much. In case you have any queries, you can contact me. Our booth is exactly opposite to the conference room. Thank you so much, Team Ecofy. Thank you.
So thanks a lot, Swapnil. I would also request you to present a token to the speaker, Mr. Charan Kuppili from our side. So, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Thank you, Swapnil. Thank you, Sai. May I kindly request Dr. Dinesh Babu, Application Manager, Tech Support Leader, Asia, Power System Protection, Megger, to come and present his presentation. The topic would be testing of complicated bus bar protection using smart testing methodology. Dinesh, 10 minutes, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, bus bar protection is one area where the application is very complicated, because when we are having a grid connected system, when the protection system operates, it has the tendency to even pull out the entire system from the grid. So this has to be tuned in such a way that there should not be any kind of unwarranted operation. If there is any fault, it has to operate, and if there is no fault, it should not operate. That's the key principle. So here we follow the most price fundamental scheme for differential protection, low impedance and centralized type. This is one of the popularly used differential protection, and when additional principles are provided to ensure that there is no any misbehavior of the system. So that's the key behind this. So for additional security, we have principles such as the directional principle or rate of change of restraint to ensure the system is properly tuned. Now, some of the cases where the system can misbehave, so that can be seen here. So let's take a two bus arrangement. This G1, which is shown here, this is the grid connection, actually the solar system connected to the grid, and this is how the system normally feeds through the line 1, L1. And this is one of the complicated bus arrangement where two buses with some switching arrangements like isolators and breakers are shown. So the isolators are shown on the top as a rectangle, and green means open and red means closed. So currently you can see there is no power getting transferred since everything is open. And how the relay reads the current. So this is how the relay will read the current. So the protection system will normally follow this table, and this table is based on the isolator positions. So for example, if the 89A isolator is closed, the respective zone will read the current, and that's what I'm going to show you in the next slide. So imagine the system is actually feeding through this. So the solar feeds the bus 1, and from bus 1 it directly the supply goes out. And during this system, since 89A, that is the isolator connected to bus 1, is closed, we can see the current being read in zone 1. And the angle is actually based on how the current is flowing. So current flowing towards the bus, we take it as 0, and the current flowing away from the bus, we take it as 180 degree. So when we vectorially add this, 1 angle 0 plus 1 angle 180 would be 0. So that's the differential current, and restraining current follows the principle of maximum current, whichever current is high. So we can see differential current is 0, the system is healthy. So another example, if we are feeding through bus 2, this is how the current reads. So zone 2 will be reading, zone 1 is actually not reading because 89B is operated. So differential current is again 0 here. The third type of operation, we can feed in this manner. So the solar connects to bus 1, we have a bus coupler, and from bus 2 it is feeding. So what happens here is, in 1 CT is read in zone 1, 3 CT is in read in zone 2, and the bus coupler is actually read in both zones because it is sending the current out from bus 1 and sending the current inside bus 2. So since the current is actually entering one bus and leaving the other bus, the angle also has to be taken respectively. So we can see here 1 angle 0 plus 1 angle 180, still the system is actually perfect. And this is how the angle 1 angle 0 and 180 varies for 2 CT, that is based on the star point connectivity of the CT. Okay, so this is a concept for bus unification. In case when we are accidentally closing any one of the bay for 89A as well as 89B, both isolators are closed together, then what happens? We are creating a path, parallel path to the bus coupler. So that means there is no CT to measure this current. That means the 2 CT current which is measured, this is actually wrong. So in this kind of situation, we cannot segregate the bus. Any kind of fault, we have to trip the entire bus. So this is called as the bus unification concept. So whenever any of the isolators are closed in this manner, we will read all the currents in all the zones. That's the simple logic that we use. And this is another example where an isolator is maloperated. You can see here the 89A is red color, but it is not giving the signal to the relay. The relay is not able to get the information because there can be a cable problem, there can be a loose connection which happens over a period of time. So when there is a wrong information, what happens? This current which you see here will not be read by the relay. So when the current is missing, since an isolator maloperated, we cannot trip the bus. So after integrating the entire solar system to the grid, when an isolator is maloperating, the entire grid will be isolated from the solar system. So that will be another challenge. So how do we address all these things? So these are the proposed solutions. So wiring the isolator with close and open command from bay control unit or from the panel. So this is a very, very important area. Like nowadays when we talk about smart grid systems, like we have the numerical relays with IEC 61850 principle. So the relays have the capability of transmitting the information from one relay to the other using fiber optic cables. So they can communicate. So when the relays are communicating this information, why should we fully be dependent on the cables? So if there is a problem with the cable, we can still get this information through fiber itself. And the relays are kept in the panel itself. So isolator is in the switchyard. Instead of customers spending a huge amount of money, for example, in a typical 220 kV substation, if you see the amount spent for cable is around 80 lakhs to 1 crore rupees. And after spending so much money, if the cable is faulty or there is a maloperation of the isolator, then what happens? We depend on the numerical relay to create some kind of logic and ensure that the system is perfect. So why can't we eliminate the entire cable, save a lot of money for the customers, users, and use these kind of advanced technology? So that's actually the solution which we discussed. The CT switching with logic security such as circuit breaker status or open pole. So the CT switching should be actually based on the circuit breaker position. So when the breaker is open and the breaker is closed. When the breaker is open, the CT can be removed from the differential calculation. When the breaker close command is issued from the SCADA or TNC switch, it can be put into service. So this is called as a end fault system. So we have two types of operation which are very popular in Europe and UAE countries. That is, where is the CT located? So the bus bar, circuit breaker, then the CT. In this case, the bus bar, CT and the breaker. So in both these cases, if there is a fault between the CT and the breaker, the entire tripping logic would be different. Entire logic has to change because this is a in-zone fault and that is an out-zone fault. So how do we address this situation? So the same concept, whenever the breaker is open, the CT would be removed from differential calculation. This is the latest concepts that we have used because earlier days it was conventional method of operation, which we have seen multiple maloperations and relays, pulling out the system from the grid. Testing of blind spot using state sequencer. So this area between the CT and the breaker is normally called as the blind spot because the other relays would not be able to detect this. So how do we test this? For that we have a solution called state sequencer testing of blind spot. Testing of busbar block logic using switching of the relay. So busbar blocking is another concept where the engineer in the substation is actually testing a busbar. That time he blocks the busbar and he is injecting a current and checking whether the relay is operating or not. During this time, if a real fault occurs, how should the system operate? Should we trip for the fault, or since it is blocked, should we not trip for the fault? Because every time the relay fails to trip, we are reducing the life of the equipments drastically. The inverters, the solar panel, everything, the life comes down. So here actually whatever we are seeing is in the grid connected system side, but for every mal-operation, the life of the system comes down. So that's what we are discussing here. In this paper, I have discussed more information in detail. So whatever we have seen here is actually a summary of what we have already done. This is not a proposed solution. These are all implemented in multiple utilities in Tamil Nadu Electricity Board, MPPTCL, and multiple locations in India. So this is a summary of our experience in busbar protection. So with this, I wind up. We are available in the stall if you want to have any further discussions in the protection area. Thank you very much.
Dinesh, thank you so much for the presentation and being right on time as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Dinesh and Swapnil, they would be around in case you have any questions for them a little later as well. Please catch up with them offline. Swapnil and Dinesh, I would request you to please be seated around. May I kindly request Mr. Praveen Kumar Jain to present his presentation. Mr. Jain, you there? I think Mr. Jain is not around. All right. Moving further, calling upon Mr. Shakti Kumar Dubey, Director, Icon Solar and Power Technologies Private Limited. The topic of his presentation being packaging as a pathway to net zero. Thanks, Shakti.
Good afternoon, all. Yeah, net zero. The topic basically goes with the process that, as we are discussing with few of our colleagues also, net zero doesn't only mean the solar. It is related with many topics. We can help everyone to achieve that net zero by many things. For example, biogas is there. There are different type of technologies. But still, in case of solar module also, there is a packaging which is used where the papers and trees we are using, which we can try to decrease. The quantity of the papers and packaging we can try to decrease. So packaging as a pathway to net zero economy, we can help to achieve. So just want to tell you that Icon Solar Power Technologies Private Limited is a module manufacturing company based centrally India. We are into this industry for last 9 years, and we have been growing exponentially from $6 million sales to last year we have closed $60 million sales, and next year we are targeting $100 million sales. So we have been growing exponentially, and with this we have a scope that we can improve our product quality And with the new technology, for example, monoperk, TOPCON and HJT, we are coming, which will be available from next month. So just basically informing about the product, we have Rig, Sam, Athar, Yajur, which is based on the Vedas. So we have divided our whole product segment into 4 category. Polycrystalline 40 watt to 75, monocrystalline 380 to 410. Sam will go with up to 150 watt. This is all we have divided based on the number of cells, voltage and application. For example, street light is one application, home light is other, third one is pumping, and fourth one is we have a power plant. So we have divided into 4 parts. Our distribution network is around 19 states in India. So basically we cover throughout India, and in last 9 years we have been growing, and by end of the next year, I hope that we will be available in all these states. Just a glimpse of net zero economy. So you can see that this is a data which we have taken by Dan Bowling, who is a partner for net zero. What he has shown that 1.54% per year we have been declining, we have been decreasing. But for the future, if we have to keep our net zero economy and net zero environmental point of view, then we have to decrease our decarbonization by 15.2%. If we will decrease our decarbonization 15.2%, then only we will be able to achieve 2% climate control, which will be equivalent to what we are growing right now. So rate of decarbonization will be required to be achieved 15.2, 1.4 is our last what we have achieved, which is increasing. So we think that 6.3% we will achieve easily, but 15.2 is the target which we need to go. So what should be the action plan? As a employee, as a customer, as a owner, we all should focus on few of the points that how to achieve this net zero. Actionable points are both manager and employee should be know about net zero, so that they can give suggestion. They can, whenever they are implementing anything, wherever they are implementing the projects, they should focus on this. Also the health safety, OSHAs is there. So we should be focused on OSHAs also, 14,000, 28,001. So we are 14,000, 28,000 by BSI group. So we are all focused on the environmental part also. External device consultation is required to each and every one, so that we can move ahead in that. Stakeholders, we are trying to convince our customers as well as suppliers, you will see ahead, that how to go towards the net zero economy in case of packaging also. There are different type of packaging which we are focused on. Carbon footprint will decrease. Also net zero strategy will help us to achieve whatever the government goals are there and throughout the world. So last year what we have done is we have tried to decrease our packaging component. So what we have done is we have decreased our packaging component, that is the plywood. We have decreased it by 800 grams. So as we have supplied more than tentatively around 6 to 7 lakh modules last year, so it comes around 533 metric ton, which will be manufactured common in a general category with 67680 trees. So we have tried to reduce our consumption by not cutting 7680 trees and increasing our dispatches. So a positive net zero is a packaging where we can decrease. So there are different type of packaging. Generally a common packaging is used where the whole cardboard is used, inside that the module is there. So we can avoid that a single part or reduce it by keeping a single side. It will serve the purpose because the glass is not export, aluminum is not export, only the back part is export, and where nothing will happen. These are the different type of box packing, die cut packing, corner cap, pallet packing with master box. So we try to convince customers so that the lesser number of packaging part is required, less quantity of wood is required, less quantity of cardboard is required. So it will be easier to help wherever the projects are there, standalone projects are there, single packing is required, die cut packing is required, and where the bigger project is there, hydra crane is required, pallet packing is required. So this was to our customer, from our supplier side, with our support of our Borosil. Rather than using a wooden pallet, now we are using a iron pallet, which is reusable. We just need to give it back to them. So you can see that this is the certificate we have received with their recognition that we have been through with them, with each other. So with the, you can see that tentatively 59 trees we have saved by using an iron pallet rather than a wooden pallet. There is a corner cap reusable plastic corners also where we can go ahead. So next checkpoints are audit. We need to do audit so that it keeps on improving. Second one is R&D and training part need to be done. So we learned that economic growth and environment protection can and should be go on in hand. So Christopher Dodd had said, so we should go ahead with improving our sustainability. Our net zero economy can be helped with many ways, not only by using solar in that dispatch part, receiving part, by changing many things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shakti, for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Shakti is around. Any questions could be taken offline again. I may also request Shakti to present a token from our side to Dinesh, Babu, and to Mr. Swapnil Wakade. Dinesh, you around? Yeah. Thank you so much, Dinesh. Thank you so much, Shakti. Thank you so much to everybody. May I now please call upon if Mr. Praveen Kumar Jain is around, can I have him here? No, he's not there. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation is by SolarEdge. May I please call upon Mr. Venkatesan S, Director Technical Sales, SolarEdge. The topic of his presentation being maximizing self-consumption. Mr. Venkatesan.
Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah, so I could see a lot of energy. So thanks to Mr. Dubey for giving all the introduction. So I really not to give what is a green or net zero economy and thing, so that I can just keep those slides and then move on. So really, if you see what is this energy market, like how the energy market is transforming today. So basically, if you see on one hand, the home electricity prices or the home electricity usage is increasing because of various new addition of appliances and other thing. On another side, if you see really the C&I segment, on the C&I segment, the energy financial structures are also keeping changing. So we are also seeing a lot of news coming out, like how the energy prices are increasing for the C&I market, and the grid stability is also coming into a question. So if you see whole the energy market is getting a transformation, and if you see how the solar, we know till today how the solar is working. So basically a PV system is delivering more power, it is more optimizing the power production and maximizing the self-consumption. So that's how till now the solar we know. So mainly today if you see the solar is more of application on the on-grid side. But actually if you see how what we wanted or how the solution we need, it should be a more sophisticated system. So when we say net zero economy, so we think that it should start from the residential or from the home. So once the individual starts using the solar are very efficiently, then definitely the net zero something is very much possible to achieve. So that's where if you see the solution today, what we needed, it should be more of optimizing the power. That should be the first aim, and also it should be more increasing of the maximizing the self-consumption. So when we say maximizing self-consumption, so mostly the homes or something should be more of a grid independent. So that should be our ultimate aim. So that's where if you see SolarEdge is working towards that solution. And we know SolarEdge is a #1 solar inverter company. So we are based out of Israel. And then in India, we have presence since 2017, and more than 80,000 plus SolarEdge systems and storage systems have been installed globally. And we have more than 2 millions of systems monitored across the globe. And we have presence in 133 countries. So with that small introduction, so today we would like to introduce a new solution called SolarEdge Home. So basically this is a personal home energy ecosystem. So more than we are seeing as a solution, we would like to call it as an ecosystem which is designed to adapt to homeowners' changing energy needs, preference and the lifestyle. So we can clearly see how the energy transformation is happening each individuals. So how we are using energy 5 years back is not the same way we are using the energy in our home now. So that's where we are introducing this solution. So it will be a complete ecosystems where we will be having, of course, the solar PV as a main component. So, and then supported by the other ecosystems like a battery for your storage and plus the smart energy devices. So when we say smart energy devices, obviously these devices can communicate with the solar inverters, and as and when we have the more energy, automatically these devices can be powered on and then it can be utilized. So that maximum we will be using the solar within the home or within our residence, and very few amount only will be getting exported or will be importing. So that's the whole idea of here. So as I told, like what is smart energy home is nothing but we are trying to use maximum the solar energy within our residential or within our home, and then very less independent on the grid side. So that's the smart energy home. So typically if you see solar will be producing maximum power during the peak hours. So definitely we can use that power to store in the battery or store in the system so that we can use it during the early hours in the morning or evening or in the night. So such that our dependency on the grid can be reduced to a large extent. So today what SolarEdge offers is a DC coupled storage system. So where we have a lot of flexibility and other things. Of course, if you need more details, we can discuss that separately in a detail. And what the solution we are offering is something like a smart decision maker. So the inverter completely captures all the informations and then intelligently it works that so that your entire power is being utilized within your house. So that's the whole idea. So basically it gathers the information not only from your home, from the other external events also, like what is your grid preference and other things, and then it makes the decision very intelligently. So once it makes a decision what need to be done, and then accordingly it gets executed also using this inverter. The most interesting part here is we will be using only one inverter. So we are not going to have multiple devices or anything. So just one smart inverter, that is what we are going to have, which is going to do all these functions. So when we say all these functions, basically it is going to harvest more power from the PV panels using the power optimizer. And the same time, it also going to charge your batteries or make your batteries full. Plus, it is also going to seamlessly connect with other smart devices within the residential, and then it is going to work. So the entire solution is going to happen only with a single inverter. And in fact, we have been awarded for the best design for this product. So basically here, if you be seeing a DC coupled solution, as I told, the battery will be getting charged directly from the PV, so that the advantage is you don't have a multiple conversion, which means your efficiency is going to be higher. And then you can always rely on the performance, and whenever the power is needed, you will be having it definitely. And then take the further solar to any other level. You will be having the completely a flexible solution. So basically you will be having a battery and an inverter and then the smart energy devices. So even when the grid is not there, so that is the beauty here, this battery can also act like a off-grid system. So whenever there is no grid is available, we can use this battery as a backup system, and then we can ensure that 24/7 you are having power in your residence or in the home. So what is the benefit for the installers by this? Definitely they will have a differentiation compared to the other installers. and then they will be having more opportunity plus ease of installation, because since it is a single trusted solution from single vendor, definitely you will be having a complete peace of mind. And same way, the homeowners are also having a lot of benefit. So when we say benefits, first thing is obviously they are going to have a reduced electricity bill, and then they are going to have a reliable energy, peace of mind, and full control on their entire system. So that's a major benefit for the homeowners. So of course it comes as a one-stop solution for the entire thing, both for service and support. So starting from the product supply till the installation and up till the commissioning and after sales service, everything comes from a single vendor. So that way both installer as well as the homeowner can definitely have a complete peace of mind. So just one thing I would highlight here, like on the warranty part. So you will be getting a warranty from a single vendor. So starting from all your products, optimizer, inverters, batteries, and all the smart devices, everything is coming from a single vendor. So that such way you will be don't have much hassle in getting the warranty support and other things. So that is from SolarEdge. So that's on the solar home solution. So if you have still questions or any queries, feel free to discuss with us. We are available in booth number 1.92. So we can always discuss. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Venkatesan, for your presentation. Gentlemen and the lady there, we have Mr. Venkatesan on the floor in case you would have any other questions. I would request Mr. Venkatesan to present a token from our side to Mr. Shakti Kumar Dubey. Shakti, please. Industry meets industry. Thank you so much, Shakti. Thank you, Mr. Venkatesan. May I please call upon Mr. Sanjeet Kumar, Executive Director, Resurgent India Limited, to present his topic, Funding in Renewable Sector. Mr. Venkatesan, you're there, right? Please.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here and address all of you. This industry, the renewable energy space, has achieved so much over the last 7-8 years that we all should be proud of it. And I'm really here when I'm seeing all the innovation, all the participants here talking about so many new things that they are doing. It really fills me with pride that, what as a country and as participants of this renewable energy space, you all have achieved over the last 7-8 years. And this is something which is well recognized world over, not just, and we need to keep working on and achieve the ambitious targets that our government has set for this industry. And I, as a representative of Resurgent India Limited, I'm here to present ourselves and see what best we can help you in your quest for all the development and growth that your companies are working on. So Resurgent India Limited is a financial services firm. And as I said, we are here to see how best we can assist the companies like yours in your journey towards the future growth in this sector. So just to give a brief introduction, we are a category 1 merchant banker, with a team of near about 300 odd staff with specializations all across industries and various products in the financial services industry. We help companies like yours throughout their project life cycle, whether it is at the project inception stage, through preparation of DPR, when you are looking for funding, preparation of the techno-economy viability reports. Even if you are looking for a debt, then we help you through the debt syndication. If you are looking for equity financing, then our private equity team can help you with that. Further on, if once you go for you need a valuation support, whether it is an asset valuation, whether it is a financial asset that you are looking for, So our valuation services team can help you with that. Even in terms of any other advisory, could be corporate advisory services that you're looking for some improvement in your working of your organization. So at every step of your project life cycle, we are there to help you. And our participation here in this conference is to show our commitment to this industry and to present ourselves that at any stage you need any help, please let us know. We will be there to guide you through the journey. In terms of our experience, we are already 20 years old in this industry, presenting the full bouquet of financial services, to all our corporate friends, to our banks as well. And in terms of our presence, we are well spread out, having a pan-India presence with our head office in Gurgaon and branch offices, whether in Mumbai, Kolkata, Bangalore, Hyderabad. We have a presence in Hyderabad as well, and as well as in Jaipur. So it's a completely full-fledged platform, service platform that we offer. So except for funding, where we have NBFCs and banks who can take care of it, but any stage you feel some discomfort, you need some advice, your support, we will be there to help you with. Now, if you look at the renewable energy sector in India right now, as I said, it has grown leaps and bounds over the last at least 7 to 8 years that we have seen, with nearly installed capacity already gone up to 172 gigawatt, which is roughly around 41% of the total installed capacity in India. And if we exclude the large hydropower sector, the growth over the last 7 years has been, annual growth rate would have been in the range of 14.5%. So it has been a phenomenal growth journey for this sector all through at least the last 7, 8 years that we have been tracking it. Okay. In terms of distribution of the installed capacity, if you see across, yes, the solar leads the path, followed by the hydro, then the wind, and of course the biomass gas is another segment that is picking up and it is working out well. But if you look across and compare with the ambitious targets that the government has set for itself, that we need to increase the capacity install to 500 gigawatt, and to make sure that over the next, by 2030, we meet 50% of the energy needs of India should be met through renewable energy. That sets up a huge target, huge goal for the entire industry to work upon. And of course, the net zero emission target, which the government has set itself by 2070. But if we just look at by 2030, if we have to achieve 50% of India's energy needs to be met through renewable energy space, that means there is a huge investment requirement which is required in this sector. Even now, over the last 8 years, nearly 70 billion has already been invested in this sector. In terms of FDI, investment is also increasing over the years. The annual investment which is happening now in this sector has already reached to around 15 billion. USD 15 billion was the investment done last year. But if we have to achieve the target, the goal that the government has set for itself, by 2030, the achievement that is required, the investment per annum needs to really double from 15 billion to near about $30 billion every year for the next 7 years to make sure that we achieve the targets and achieve that 50% of India's energy needs being made through renewable space. So it would need that level of investment. So, $30 billion multiplied by 7, we are talking about more than $200 billion of investment, which is likely to happen in the next 7 years if we stick to our targets and achieve those targets. So that calls for, of course, a lot of work to be done by the industry participants like you, but of course it needs people like us to be here to assist you, to make sure that these investments are done rightly and in the correct segment. The viability of those projects are established well beforehand so that we don't have surprises coming in at a later point in time. Okay, the government, of course, has been pushing in the industry to achieve these ambitious targets. The PLI scheme, which has already been launched last year, and near about 24,000 crores of investment, support that the government is providing to this sector. The government has gone one step further. Last year, we have launched the sovereign green bonds now, and near about 2 billion of fund has already been raised by Government of India in the January, February of 2023, this year itself. So the government's commitment towards this sector is very well established, and they have been taking various steps to make sure that funding is available. So this $2 billion which the government has raised is going to be spent across to the public expenditure in this segment to the various industries. Of course, this will be routed through the the government departments or the state governments or various other institutions the government is supporting. Now, when we look at from the financing perspective, there are challenges which this sector faces. And one of the key challenges is the tenure of the loans, because most of the capex which this sector is into requires long-term funding. Sometimes it could be 20 years or 25 years kind of a loan. Whereas most of the banks or the financing institutions that we have in India, generally they are not comfortable for giving the loans of this kind of tenor. So they're restricted around to 10 to 12 years. That's the maximum that they go up to. So that's the key challenge which this segment faces. And of course, the higher capital cost, because unlike other segments where there is recurring cost, the renewable energy space is a high fixed cost, upfront cost. So the capital cost is high. The maintenance cost is pretty low comparatively. And then there are sector-specific issues like the growth of this sector always hinges on multiple other factors. Like could be a transmission infrastructure, could be regulatory challenges. So some of those challenges always plays in the minds of the lenders or the financial institutions whenever they evaluate the projects of the renewable sector. Creditworthiness of the PPA counterparty, that's a huge issue. I mean, though it has improved a lot, the state electricity boards and all the major PPA counterparties, they have been at least improve their creditworthiness, but this still remains a challenge and becomes a key issue whenever any project is assessed by the bankers or any other financial institutions. So if you look through some of these issues are being addressed as we go along, and a lot of it has already happened. In terms of the interest of the variety of financing institutions that is coming up and who are lending support to this renewable energy space has improved a lot. I mean, we have just seen Ecofy, one of the NBFCs which have been set up just to fund green projects. So there are similar kind of interests coming up. A lot of overseas investors are getting interested into India. Around 50% of the incremental debt funding which is happening in the renewable energy space is being done by the overseas sources. So, that's a huge, support that we are receiving from the overseas financing institutions. Even the ADB and IFC, they are there to support and give long-term financing, and they manage that by repricing the clause in their loan agreements, so that whenever if they are giving it a 20 or 25-year loans, they have the flexibility to reprice their loan and change the interest rates midway. Refinancing of debt is an important issue, as you've said. A lot of because they need long-term loans, and if you are getting a 10 to 12-year kind of loan and you need to refinance it to ensure that you have the funding requirement is met for the entire life cycle of the asset that you have created, you need to have this refinancing built in. And in that space, if we have seen the green bonds has picked up well, a lot of interest is being shown. A lot of investors are keen to put money in the green bonds, and this has already picked up. We have near about $20 billion of the green bonds already in the market, which is near about 3.8% of the total corporate bond, which is there in the market. Out of that, 20 billion is towards for the green bond itself. So this is picking up. And this is appearing as a good refinancing tool. So once you have the project is set up, it has already stabilized, commission, and that's a good time to look at the green bond as an issuance and refinance the entire loan through a long-term bond. Some of the other issues which we discussed about, like the PPA counterparties, the creditworthiness of it, can be addressed through creation of a debt service reserve account, which can take care of additional debt servicing requirement and can address the delays which happen typically by the state electricity board. These kind of issues that we have seen in the past, some of it can be addressed by creating an additional debt service reserve account. The escalation in the project cost is another issue, which at times lenders face some issues because of it. And whenever we are looking at these kind of loan structures, we try to build in promoter guarantees for the project cost overruns, just to make sure that the lenders are protected and they become more comfortable whenever they are funding these kind of projects. The other areas that I would encourage the promoters of renewable energy space to look at is an InvIT space, where you can actually offload your equity to the large multiple retail and institutional investors, which can free up your capital, and the same capital you can use it for new projects. So this is a good way. I mean, this is still to be a lot of people are still to use the InvIT route, but I would suggest the promoters to consider this space route. And this could be a good tool to free up your capital, and actually you can spend the same money into developing new projects and increase your project portfolio. I think with this small presentation, I am done with my talk today. Thank you thanks a lot to the organization for giving us the time to here to present ourselves. And as I said, as Research in India, we will be happy to participate, help you in your journey throughout the growth story. And there is a lot to work to be done in this space. We will be happy to associate and partner with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. May I also request you to please present a token to Mr. Venkatesan from Solar Edge from RenewX. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the presenters. Likewise, I would also request Mr. Venkatesan to present a token to Mr. Sanjeet Kumar. And I would request Ms. Renuka to join us on the stage from Informa Markets. Renuka, if you could join us as well. So once again, a good photograph. We have, yeah. Mr. Venkatesan, one photograph, please. Thank you. Please.